Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to Roma Theory. How is everybody doing? We've got a big game on Sunday and it was presser day today. Claudio spoke, very interesting things. I'm not going to shout too much because my mother isn't feeling that well. She's sleeping in the other room. So yeah, I'm not going to shout too much today. There's no need to shout. It's a presser reaction. But yeah, look, quite a few interesting things coming out of Claudio's mouth today. Fratesi, links with him. Di Marzio, of course, spoke about Fratesi and Roma potentially coming to an agreement, and Ranieri had something to say today in the press conference. And then, of course, a few words on Bologna. We'll have time to analyze Bologna tomorrow in the dedicated match preview, so don't you worry about that. I'm not going to focus on them today. But he did share a few things that we can talk about Bologna in this little press conference reaction. And then, of course, post-derby reaction. What does a post-derby reaction mean to a team like Roma, to these players who are very used to kind of loosening their control and concentration whenever they come across a very good result. We've seen this already. We've got this tendency of kind of not giving an absolute crap about the next game if we come from a good result. And how can this influence? And how has this influenced this terrible away record that we are currently pursuing away from the Olimpico, which is kind of taunting us since last April. So yeah, quite a few things to speak about today. Don't forget to hit the like button. Remember, 100 like challenge is now available. I mean, everybody hit the like button. 100 likes on every video in 2025 would be amazing, and it's the goal. And I trust you and you trust me. It's a mutual responsibility. So hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Real quick, I just wanted to start this live stream by saying anybody who lives around the Los Angeles area, I'm getting TikToks about the situation in California, in Hollywood, and it is absolutely scary. I mean, my prayers to everybody out there. My prayers to everybody who has been touched by the fires. I've seen some images and I'm not joking. It's absolutely scary and it's wild and I mean, I don't wish to go through what people are living in Hollywood right now ever in my life. So prayers to you and your families if you've been touched or not. Stay safe and sempre forza Roma is my little message to you. Right. I want to start off with Fratesi because of course Di Marzio has announced that we are interested in him. Di Marzio yesterday when we were going live spoke about how Ghisolfi was in Milan, and Ghisolfi was in Milan to try and work and solve this Fratesi deal. I still think it's not going to happen. I still think if it is going to happen, it's going to happen in the summer, not now. But we do have some developments. Fratesi's pushing to leave. Fratesi's pushing to join Roma. This does not mean that an agreement will be found, but a few sources are saying that Roma are tempted to prepare their first offer, potentially also including a swap deal with Cristante, who Inter might want. And Cristante, of course, is a player that Roma don't want anymore and have put on the transfer list. So, I mean, it's interesting to see how this situation will develop. Again, even though the winter transfer window is short, we're still at the very start of it. I mean, not at the very start of it, but it's so early days in it. I expect signings. I'm not sure what signings I expect, but I mean, look, Fratesi is not a priority because he's not. I'm being dead honest here. He's not a priority. Priority is a right back and a striker, a second striker. It's been like this since August. So I'm not going to put Fratesi in a priority bracket. But adding Fratesi would mean reinforcing yourself and ultimately push for a great second half of the season. So that's what I would say. Anyways, Ranieri says, if we spoke with him, I'm not going to tell you this. We have a broad vision of everything, but everything is not a priority. We know who we want. We have to try and find players that want Roma and suit Roma. That's all. There's no point in throwing dust in the eyes of our fans. Look, I think this last phrase is important. There's no point in throwing dust in the eyes of our fans. Too many times we've been linked with players which got us excited and then the deal did not happen. And I think this is, as always, in any transfer window, whether this is a winter or summer transfer window, it's the number one thing. I think as fans, we don't need to worry about these circumstances and these dynamics. We need to think about pushing and getting the best out of our football club. And then, of course, whatever players we sign, we sign. You might like them, you might hate them, but it's that. With the sentence, we have to try and find players that suit Roma and want Roma. And with also the thing that he said, if we spoke with him and won't tell you, I stick with my words. I think the two sides have talked to each other. And look, the fact that Di Marzio is confirming this suggests to you that it is reliable. It is something that Roma is considering. So it's not fake news. It is an option. He's a player that Roma are considering because he knows Roma very well and he would suit Roma very well. These are the players we need, yes. But as I said before, he's not a priority. We need a right back and a second striker more than another midfielder. Then, of course, if you get me a right back and a second striker and add Fratesi to the list, I won't complain. But I do think the priority in this transfer window is fixing and adding. It's not improving and making things delightful. The objective in the winter transfer sessions is to improve from your mistakes. And your mistakes are not having bought a proper right back and not having covered Dovbyk with a proper replacement. So in January, you need to tackle the problems that you left in June. January windows aren't about perfecting the situation and making your team stand out. That's what happens in the summer. January is about working, hammering, and fixing, remodeling, reshaping objectives that you weren't able to buy in June. We'll see what happens. The talks are there, and look, I mean, let's see what happens. That's all I can say. Right, second thing, very, very interesting. Another very interesting thing. Real quick, of course he spoke about Bologna. The thing with these press conferences, the problem with these press conferences, especially now that we're in January, is that 90% of the questions will have nothing to do with the game. The things that Ranieri said regarding the game, we're going to touch tomorrow in the match preview. What I can say is that he said that Bologna are a very fast side, which will, under all effects, not make you breathe with how intense they press. But again, details on the game, tactics on the game plan on tomorrow's game, we'll speak about tomorrow. I found a very interesting thing that he said about Soulé, because I'm reading that there are a few sources, a few journalists, which say that a few teams have contacted Soulé and a few teams have gathered information about him because he's not getting as many minutes as he expected. But responding to these transfer rumors, these sources are saying that Soulé wants to stay, and even if he's not playing, he's understanding that this is a process of growth. So having and hearing what the manager has to say about this process of growth is interesting. And in my opinion, it's also very true what he says. So the question is, Soulé is someone who hasn't found much space so far. Has he ever expressed the desire to leave, to play more? And have you noticed any improvements in him? The guy applies himself a lot, and I like him a lot. He didn't make any requests to leave because he knows that this is his future, and I am sure that he will have a bright future with us. He's good, but I like practical players. That's what I ask and what I'm trying to get the best out of him. He touches 10 balls, and I want these 10 balls to be something important for the team. I can't imagine him receiving the ball, touching it 3, 4, 5 times, and then nothing happening. I want one of my players to be able to do something important with the ball at his feet, especially if he has the extra quality that Matti Soulé has. He's slowly getting there. It's not easy, but he will get there, and he has everything to succeed. This is very true. This is very true. Remember what I said? I can't remember the game. I remember in a match reaction, I literally made the impression of Soulé. Soulé plays like this. Soulé plays like this. Soulé plays head down and touches the ball 20 times. And at the end of the day, after the 20 touches that he has, nothing happens with the ball. And this is what the manager has noticed. And this is so true. This is so true. I don't want Soulé to leave. Because of the investment, because of the money you spent for him, because of the talent and the prospect. You need time. You need to give him time. He's got the talent. You can tell that he has the talent. He does not use the talent correctly, however. And Ranieri has spotted this. And Ranieri is saying, I'm trying to get the best out of him by making him a more practical player. And once he becomes more practical, he will get more game time. Because he's inefficient. I think the word to describe him, to perfectly describe him, is he's inefficient. He touches far too many balls and nothing happens whenever he touches the ball. So what Ranieri's trying to make him understand is, you've got the talent. You've got a talent that you probably have better than a lot of other players playing in the Italian league. But you don't use it correctly. Because for you to use your talent and your capabilities and your technique correctly, you need to become more practical. You need to touch the ball less amount of times and be more efficient with it. Create more chances. Don't focus on the dribbles. Focus on the end product. Don't focus on making and acting cool. Focus on being practical and efficient. And that's the number one tip that we gave to Soulé, all of us, because all of us spotted this. This bad characteristic that he had. So very, very interesting, because it means that the manager has understood this as well. And it means that the manager wants to start him more and will start him more whenever he clicks in his mind and in his game the way he plays, that if he becomes more efficient, he will become a better player. And he will succeed. So very, very good point there. When is the Spinazzola tribute video coming out? He was with the team for over 10 years. Top 5 players of all time. Spinazzolo. I have never heard of him. Who the hell is Spinazzolo? Spinazzola, you mean? I have no idea where you're on, mate. Baldanzi under Ranieri hasn't gotten many minutes, untapped potential, to be honest. Yeah, Baldanzi is interesting. Apparently Baldanzi doesn't want to leave, though. I think with Baldanzi is that you've found is that Dybala's back being Dybala, you know. The problem with Baldanzi is that, unlike Juric, who tried to make himself smart by making useless decisions, Ranieri came in, had no time to experiment with, because he knew that he had to fix the core product very quickly. And so Ranieri doesn't experiment. If Ranieri has a fit Dybala, Ranieri will start a fit Dybala in every single game. And a fit Dybala will change the game. So I think, again, the reason Baldanzi isn't getting many minutes is not because Ranieri doesn't like him, but it's because Ranieri's smart, unlike Juric, who's like, I need to try and change these players. I need to try and make these players adapt to my style of play. That is what Juric got wrong. I said this 20 times. The reason Juric got sacked and the reason Juric never worked out is because he wanted, in a moment of crisis, the players to adapt to his style of play. When, in the moment of crisis, it's you who need to adapt to the players and how they want to play. And I think this is exactly why Baldanzi isn't playing many games. He's going to get more chances, especially now that the Coppa Italia and the Europa League is going to get back going. But I don't have time to experiment. Effectively, what Ranieri is telling you is, I came in and the boat was sinking. Like, this ship was sinking. This ship was collapsing down. So why do I need to come in and experiment? Why do I need to come in and not be efficient when this boat is sinking? The only way this ship starts sailing again, and the only way we fix the problems, the engine of this ship, is if we grind points. And by grinding points, you need to put your best players on the pitch in the starting 11. And that's exactly why Hummels, Paredes, and Dybala, and Manu Kone all start every single game. Because they are the 4 best players in our team. And they're going to make you win games. And it didn't take a genius to understand this. It took a very stubborn manager to get sacked for us to understand that appointing Juric was the biggest mistake that we ever made. I'm not even exaggerating. That this club has ever made. So that's why. But again, he's going to get more game time now that the Europa League is starting again. And then probably not one of the best quotes to pick out and analyze, but I wanted to read this because, again, it just shows you the humbleness of this man. The question was, do you feel this responsibility of being the father figure for the Roman environment? And do you have the feeling of being the same for the team? I think it's a nice question to ask, but I think the response is golden. The response is golden because the response comes from a man who has never put himself above anything else. He says, I feel like I'm just a person, a coach, who hopes to have respect like I like to give it. I don't feel like a father or a grandfather. Everything I do with my heart in my hand. Like any human, I can make mistakes. But our fans can be super convinced that if I make a mistake, I do it for a vision and I do it to try and make Roma great again. But not for all reasons. I do it to try to improve Roma. And I think this is perceived both in the club, among the players, among the fans, and also among you, media and board. I think you respect me because you see that I am an open and loyal person. I'm an open book. Nothing to say here. I just wanted to add it because, as I was saying, one of the reasons why these players play different, feel different, act different, or happy again, is because Ranieri is a simple guy. Ranieri is a very simple guy. You know, there are nowadays the stereotype manager in modern football needs to be a genius. I think we can all agree on this. Right now, in 2025, if a manager isn't considered a genius, tactical genius, he's not considered a good manager. And I think this is one of the reasons why there are so many developing managers which don't succeed. Because I think that nowadays in modern football, tactics are placed ahead of psychology, number one, and normality. And one of the reasons why the players feel very relieved and feel very calm and non-stressed at time of speaking is because they are being managed by somebody who is not considered a modern manager and who focuses a lot on the psychology, doesn't focus much on the tactic. Yes, he'll have his idea. I want to play like this in this game. I want to play like this in this game based on the opponents. But Ranieri, look, he said it himself, he's an open book. I don't need to tell you what to do. I don't need to insist on what you need to do in a football game. I can tell you what to do. I can give you advice. And then it's up to you whether you want to follow me or not. And I think this is the key to his success. The key that brought his success to our club, that brought him to, winning a Premier League with a relegation. Prior to that title, Leicester was a relegation side. Normality, simplicity. I don't need to overplay. I don't need to win 4-0. I need to win 1-0. I need to win as much as I win, as much as the performance was there. If the performance was there, I'm not going to get mad. If the performance was there, but the result doesn't arrive, it's football. You win, you lose. And I think the key ingredient that he gave back to a situation of mess and chaos is that he added a tip of normal salt. Normal salt. Everybody's mad. Everybody's chaotic. We sacked 2 managers. These players are scared. These players are frustrated. These players are disappointed. These players are traumatized. I need to normalize the situation. Then once the situation is normalized, then okay. I can look at the tactical side of things a bit more. But now, in these past few months, it's not about winning 4-0. It's about winning 1-0. It's about normalizing the league table, climbing positions, and giving the fans a smile. And that's exactly what Ranieri is and has been in his career. And then again, he said, about the bad away record. Ranieri believes that there are only a few days left until the victory away from home. Every game we play away from home and don't win, we're missing one. And for big numbers, and sooner or later, this victory must come. It will be a great match in Bologna with 2 teams battling it out. There will be an organized game with 2 organized teams with the aggressive mentality of their coach. We'll have to be good at finding a way to get inside them. That's his little comment on the game. Juric was a successful waste of time indeed. Is Roma finally back? I'm not going to say finally back because you know me. Before trusting this team, they need to win 10 games in a row for me. I would not be surprised if we lose on Sunday. I would not get surprised at all. But at the end of the day, we're definitely a better team. We've definitely play better football, look way more, less stressed on the ball, and yeah. Roma likes Inter Buchanan, says Gianluca Di Marzio. I've never seen him play, so I can't give an opinion. Soulé seems very mature. You're right about Ranieri's psychology. What do you think of hiring Davide Ancelotti as your coach next season? Everybody is considering him just because he's Ancelotti's son. Have we ever seen him manage? I wouldn't take the risk. Just because his father is Carlo Ancelotti does not mean that he's a good manager. And I think believing that if he's Carlo Ancelotti's son, he'll be a good manager is like saying that, if Ibrahimovic was a good football player, he'll become a good football manager. No. Maradona, arguably one of the best players on earth, if not the best player on earth, was he a good manager? No. So the fact that he's Carlo Ancelotti's son means nothing to me. I would much rather a more proven. I mean, if I have to pick an Ancelotti, I'd go with his father, not his son. Juric was a successful wisdom. What do you think of the fact that Ranieri talked about the Primavera substitutes in training only when the first team players are missing? He doesn't seem to look at them as investment. Again, what I was saying before, seeing our season, it's not time to experiment. I'm not surprised that Ranieri's saying these things. And he's not wrong. Like, we're so down low in the table. Why do I need to give time to Primavera? It's good, but it's good if you're 4th. It's good if you're 3rd. Not if you're 10th, 11th, 12th, trying to climb positions. So again, it's about, there's no need to overcomplicate stuff. Youth players will have their time. Not now, because now I need points. Now I need certainties. Now I need players who are experienced and know how to deal with these moments. The rumor of Feyenoord's Igor Paixão excites me. Do you think Fulkrug would be a possibility? If they open up for a loan, yes. Otherwise, I would say no. We're facing Milan in the quarterfinals, and we know that Milan has defeated Inter, winning the Supercoppa. What is your basic idea about this match? Plenty of time. We've got basically a month to go. We've got focus on Bologna. Let's get 3 points on Sunday. Complicated game, complicated ground, complicated team to play against. And I'm going to end it there. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and 100 likes on the video would be great. Let me know your thoughts on today's press conference, and I'll catch you tomorrow with the match preview. Love you. Bye-bye. Take care. See you more.